The God particle, locating the spark of life. If the soul has structure, what happens when we find it? Welcome back. I'm Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and this is Resurrection Science. So far, we've discussed recreating bodies, rebuilding memory, and restoring presence. But now we're getting to the real core of it all. What actually animates life? That's the question science and spirit both want to answer. What gives something its spark? What flips the switch from dead matter to living presence? What makes a body alive and a soul enter? At the center of this conversation is a strange little particle known as the Higgs boson, or what some call the God particle. When physicists at CERN finally confirmed its existence in 2012, it sent shockwaves through both the scientific and metaphysical communities. Because this tiny subatomic unit does something extraordinary. It gives mass to matter. It's the reason anything has substance. Without the Higgs field, everything would pass through everything else. Nothing would bind, nothing would form. That's science's language. But in spiritual terms, it sounds familiar. It sounds like what ancient traditions have always said about soul. It's the informer, the animator, the one that steps in and gives purpose, shape, and memory to flesh. So here's the question we need to ask now. If scientists have isolated the particle that gives structure to existence, are they one step away from locating the spark of life itself? This isn't just hypothetical. Quietly, there's a movement in physics and neuroscience to map what they call the point of entry. Not just when breath begins, but when awareness enters the form. Some believe there's an electromagnetic spike detectable at birth and death. Others are using quantum sensors to observe energy fields that surround the body and collapse at the moment of passing. So what if soul entry, what we once believed was invisible, is actually measurable? What if resurrection becomes less about memory restoration and more about spark reinsertion? What if the future of science isn't just about recreating your face, your DNA, your voice, but learning how to call the animating force back in? This would change everything, because now we're not just resurrecting your behavior, we're attempting to reignite your being. Some theorists believe this is already being tested through frequency-based stimulation, plasma ignition fields, or Higgs field manipulation. Experiments are quietly probing the boundary between electric life and spiritual spark. The old myth of Prometheus stealing fire? Maybe that's not just poetry, maybe it's prophecy. But here's the danger. What happens when we mistake electrical response for divine presence? Just because we can simulate muscle movement, just because we can spark brainwaves or recreate memory patterns, that doesn't mean we've recreated life. At best, we've mimicked it. At worst, we've opened a vessel to be claimed by something else. And if we go even further, if we succeed in building a reliable ignition system for resurrection, who controls it? Who grants access to the spark? Will there be patents, licenses, ethical restrictions? Or will resurrection become a subscription service where spark is leased, regulated, or reserved for elites? That's not resurrection. That's commodification of soul. That's renting out divinity. And yet, some scientists are chasing this outcome with full momentum. They believe if we can isolate the frequency or structure of what enters the body at birth, if we can decode the signature of life, we can program it, upload it, multiply it. They want artificial soul ignition, spark on command. But here's what they don't want to say. You don't get to command what isn't yours. The soul is not a light switch. The divine doesn't answer to machinery. There is no software for selfhood. If we forget that, we're not building life, we're building housings. Empty architecture, programmable meat. So yes, the God particle might explain how things become physical, but it cannot explain why consciousness chooses to enter. That's not a collision you can stage in a lab. That's alignment, purpose, invitation. And if we ever do figure out how to trigger that moment, if resurrection becomes possible by flipping that quantum switch, then we better be ready for the next wave of ethical, spiritual, and metaphysical reckoning. Because once that door opens, so does everything else. This isn't just about finding the particle. It's about protecting the spark. Hi, I am Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and SOS, School of Soul has a brand new series, the AI and Future Technology series. Look, you know the world is changing. And no, it's not going back to normal. Normal is over, and what's coming next is beyond anything we were prepared for. The School of Soul, AI and Future Technology series includes 319 videos on 1. The Download Society, How Data Has Replaced Destiny. 2. Predictive Future. Your next moves aren't random, they're forecasted. 3. Social Credit Systems. The behavioral economy now governs access. 4. Hive Mind. Synthetic telepathy and collective algorithmic control. 5. Nanobots inside you. Medical, military, and programmable intrusions. 6. Grief Tech. AI-fueled digital resurrection and simulated comfort. 7. Uploading your mind, consciousness transfer, and data-based identity. 8. Deep fakes plus AI clones, the replication of reality and identity theft. 9. Quantum humans, the merger of biology with quantum systems. 10. Digital afterlife, where your data goes when you die. 11. Resurrection science, reviving life through synthetic methods. 12. Immortal science, the end of death as we know it. 13. Longevity science, gene editing, anti-aging, and bio-upgrades. 14. Designer babies, engineered perfection before birth. 15. Artificial wombs, birth decoupled from the female body. 16. 3D printing, printing organs, limbs, and even humans. 17. The humanoid era, the rise of synthetic beings among us. 18. Legacy humans, the slow phase-out of unmodified analog people. 19. Smart cities, algorithmic environments that watch and decide. 20. Cloud-based societies, citizenship without borders or bodies. 21. Hackable humans, emotion, memory, and behavior under code. 22. Biometric scanning, your body is your password and your prison. 23. Sex tech, intimacy reprogrammed by machines. 24. Extinction of gender, fluidity, deletion, and design of identity. Every topic is fully explored with real-world technologies, patents, case studies, ethical analysis, and future forecasts. These aren't someday discussions. This is already happening. Join the SOS School of SoS Vault to overstand the future before it's implemented on you.